So we're now on page Samach Hey, which is across the page 128. It says Perek Membov, chapter 46. I'm going right to the text because yesterday we had lots of time to discuss the monologue and get into other things. V'yesh derech yosher lifnei yish, there is a right path, a proper path before every person. Shava l'chol nefesh, and this path is equal for all, no difference. Number two, v'karev hadavar, and it's very close to every person. Ma'oid ma'oid. Number 3, 4, very, very. It's so close for every person. To what? L'oirer u'l'hoyer oyer ha'ava, to arouse and to illuminate the light of love. Hatkua, which is planted, u'mesuteres, and hidden beliboy, in a Jew's heart. Every Jew has a love for Hashem in their heart, that's planted deep in their heart. Liyos mi'ira, for that love for God to shine, b'toikif oirev, with the potency of its illumination, of its shine, ki'eish bo'ara, like a flame of fire, like a burning fire, b'his galus liboy. There's a lot of adjectives here and verbiage. With the revelation of the heart, it should be felt in the heart, u'moicha, in a person's mind, limser nafshe l'Hashem, to have dedication to God to the point of giving away their life for the sake of God. Vigufay, not only should your soul be dedicated to God, but your body, u'ma'oidai, and referring to your money, that a person will spend any amount of money on having a relationship with God. A person will tire their body regardless of what it takes to be in a union with God, and a person will even give away their spirituality, like so many of the Chabad Shaluchim, that they can be in Crown Heights or in Yerushalayim, or and learning and davening with their own people, and they go out to Tunisia and to Tempe, Arizona, and they go here, there, and everywhere, and they have no one around except their wife, themselves, and they work with people. That's a Mesiras Nefesh bis nafshay. Okay? Don't think, it's like one of the Chabad rabbis who I know, he said to a congregant, you think that my enjoyment is, raising funds and doing this and that. In Chabad, my enjoyment is teaching Hasidus and learning Hasidus. That's what I grew up with, and I can relate to that. Because we all grow up with a certain love from our youth. And that really is the criteria of who we are. Every one of us. Now, can you make a transformation where you not only change careers outwardly, but you change careers inwardly? Yeah, but it's seldom. It's seldom, right? So we need to do what we need to do for Parnasa and whatever else. But the love of our life is what we got when we were, a young man, a teenager, a young adult. When we formed our beliefs, our belief system. That's why it's so important, especially now with the children and grandchildren going to universities, to avoid teachers who indoctrinate students with terrible things against Eretz Yisrael, against God, and on and on. That's on the university secular side. But even in the Torah world, there are teachers who, they mean well, but unfortunately they have some ideas that are, lead to dissension. I go back to the example. One of my daughters met someone years ago, and this young man studied in a good Chabad yeshiva, very good Chabad yeshiva, and they were discussing playing an instrument, having an instrument for the children and their future children. And the young man said, no, I wouldn't want that in the house. So she said, why not? She said, because my teacher at yeshiva, mashpia, rosh yeshiva, whatever, said that that's not Hasidic. Now, we're not talking about going excuse the expression, a strip club. We're not talking about going to disgusting things. We're not talking about indulging. We're talking about playing an instrument. What is so bad? So let's say a guitar, right? Avram, this is your field. A guitar, right? Yeah, you could be you could be a Bob Dylan if you want. You could be a downtrodden, and you can use guitars for things that, evoke unhealthy desires without mentioning what they are, because everyone knows what we're talking about. Or the Grateful Dead, right? And so it could lead you to drugs and everything else. Okay. And what's the guy? Jimmy Zaplin? What's his name? This famous singer or guitarist. I don't know these names. Whatever. Frank Sinatra, going back even to maybe Mark's time. Frank Sinatra and Menashe. So of course you could use instruments and guitars and
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix, whatever, all these guys. I'm sorry, I'm not a bucky in this thing. It's not what I did in yeshiva.
Frank Sinatra was a big friend of Israel and the Jewish people.
Right.
Did a lot for the Jews.
And Menashe, I'm not talking about that aspect of Frank Sinatra. I'm talking about, that for a yeshiva boy learning Gemara and Hasidus and Gemara, he's not learning about Frank Sinatra and doesn't want to know about Frank Sinatra. When he gets older, he's set in his ways and he's studying history and wants to know about people who've helped the Jewish world. That's fine. Anyway, let's not argue. Let's get back to the point. But at the same time, you could take a guitar and you can use it for playing Yiddish music, Hasidic music, meditative music to really become closer. It's the famous argument between Chabad Shita and many other Shitas. Okay, what we're doing now. Could you imagine? I'm sitting in Brooklyn, most of you in Eretz Yisrael, Velvel's in Germany, and we're learning Hasidus together. We're learning Tanya together. Unheard of years ago. Really Mashiach's time. But this computer, by many of the people here that are my neighbors and, in Borough Park, is considered treif. Not kosher. Unholy. Why? Because you can play disgusting things on computers too. Right? So the Alter Rebbe over here, in talking about dedication, he says not only is dedication with exerting your body to schlep the packages for someone, and not only giving away from your money, you earned the money, you made the investment, you made the profit, and then you take a bunch of that money, you give it away to charity, you give it away to help someone and all that. But the spiritual aspect. Give away of your time that you could learn and daven and develop and grow more and teach someone the Aleph Beis. Teach someone a verse in the Torah. Talk to someone. That's called Mesiras Nefesh B'Nafshay. It's a spiritual, it's with your soul. Let's go back to the text. Now the Alter Rebbe says, B'chol lev b'chol nefesh moed mi'umka deliba be'emes lamita. He keeps on giving these adjectives. It's so deep, coming from the depth of your heart, with the truth of the truth. U'b'frat b'shas krishma. Specifically during the time when you say the Shema, Birchoseha, in the morning, we have blessings, and in the evening that precede the actual recitation of the Shema. So later on in chapter 49, the Alter Rebbe will explain to us, we'll have to wait till then, I'm sure we won't be able to sleep between now and chapter 49, but the Alter Rebbe says that there I'll explain to you the association between the inherent deep love that a Jew has for God and the blessings of Shema. Shema for sure, right? Shema Yisrael, Hear O Israel, God is Hashem Elokeinu, God is our God, God is the only one, is the credo of Judaism. Everyone knows that, right? What about the blessings before? We talk about angels, about the angels that are called circles, angels that are called fire, these angels, that angels, what does that have to do? What does one have to do with the others? The Alter Rebbe says, I'll explain that later on. The point being over here is that there is something, and now he's going to tell us what that something is. He hasn't yet told us what it is. He gave us a prelude. He says, what I'm about to tell you, the style that I want you to think about in order to have love and reverence for God in your prayer, in your Torah study, in your performance of deeds, of mitzvahs, he says, it's such a powerful thing that it's relevant to every Jew, and every Jew has easy accessibility to it. Now, Chaim said this is the first time in these chapters where we have 5-6 lines of verbiage about the path that he proposes. I want you now to look inside and continue. V'hu, and that is, it is, kasher yosem el liboi, when a person will reflect on the following. There's a verse in Proverbs called Mishlei, written by King Solomon, Shlomo Melech. Mashakosov akosov, the verse says, quote, Kimayim haponim leponim, just as the reflection of one's face is seen on water. When you look at water, you look at the water, your face is reflected. So too, Cain, Leiv ha'adam, so too is the heart of man, Ela ha'adam, reflected to the other man that you look at and you care for and you love. That is the verse. That's a verse in Mishlei. Now, the normal meaning of the verse is the following. The book of Mishlei, as it says in the introduction, is Sefer HaChochmas VaHirois. It's proverbs for the purpose of wisdom, being smart, and encouraging and giving us instruction how we should lead our lives. That is the credo of the book of Mishlei. Every book in Tanakh, in the 24 books, the holy books of the Torah and the writings and the prophets, has a message, right? When you learn Koheles, when you learn Song of Songs, when you learn this book of Shemos, Exodus, the overall book has an identity, has a message. That's why we call in English the book of Shemos. Shemos means names. In English, it's called the book of Exodus, because the overall message of the second of the 5 holy books of Moshe Rabbeinu, of Moshe, is the book of of Exodus. The book of Vayikra, the 3rd book, is called Leviticus, which, thank you, what does that mean? But it's the book dealing with sacrifices. And the 4th book of the Torah, Bamidbar, Numbers. So somehow there's a correlation between each of the portions in each of the books to the overall name. So bringing this back to the book of Mishlei, Mishlei is the book of Proverbs, riddles, anecdotes, hidden messages. So that's why Shlomo says, my dear friends, he says, you should know, I didn't write here a book of riddles and jokes to be able to use for speakers who need to give a good talk, so they'll have a joke and a riddle or a bright concept. The book of Proverbs is about wisdom and instruction. An instruction of what one should be. Be a mensch this way, be nice this way, don't gossip this way, and all those things. So, this verse in the book of Proverbs, just as man's face is reflected in water, so is one's heart towards another one, a reflection of the other person, is the way it should be. And Shlomo, King Solomon, is telling us, hey, your attitude towards another person should be a reflection of your own heart. And since you love yourself, love him. Just like when you look at water and what's reflected, your own face. So if you have hatred or, not even hatred, but you don't like this other person, that's the way it's going to come out. Guess what? That's the way other people will feel about you, because it'll be felt and heard. It's like I was discussing with my wife the other day. Baruch Hashem, we had the shidduch, and I said, if someone really wants to be at a simcha, they're gonna be there. They're gonna get there. I mean, barring that they live out of elsewhere or something. But if you feel close to someone, you don't say, if this equals this and this works out. You make it your way to express your love because it's in your heart. So excuses are not acceptable. Again, barring Hashem not wanting you to be there for whatever reason. So then you can jump on your head upside down. You ain't gonna get there, right? How many of us know stories of people who've gotten into their car, have gone to the airport, have gone to the train, and the train is delayed. And then this happens, that happens, and you end up missing the simcha, right? And such things. That's Hashgacha Pratis, HP. Not Hewlett Packard, but Hashgacha Pratis, HP. So that's God's score. That's the Eberster's, God, Hashem. But barring that, if someone feels close to someone, they need, this is what King Shlomo is saying, express your love. Show your gratitude. Just like you see your own face reflected. That's what it says. The Alter Rebbe here is about to give a different interpretation. And it's not a contradiction to the interpretation that the common interpretation when you learn Proverbs, Mishlei. And that's why the next word, look, Chevra, on about the 7th line, the first word is pirush. I've told you many times, and I repeat it. When you see in Tanya, the Alter Rebbe using the word pirush, that means he's adding something that is not the way it's normally understood. Because if not, he wouldn't say Menashe Pirush. Everyone knows, learn Proverbs, take out the commentary, read the Art Scroll or the Chabad translation, and you'll know what the verse means. The Alter Rebbe he adds the word Pirush. Pirush means like I'll tell you. What do you mean? You don't have to tell me. It's in Tanakh. It's a verse in Tanakh. No, so that's why the word Pirush implies there's a new nuance that Alter Rebbe is going to share. And what does he say? Look what he says. Just as the image of man's face, Mare b'mayim, is seen, becomes apparent on the water. Kain nire loy shom b'mayim oiset tzura atzma. So too, it becomes apparent that very image on the water. Now, what this means is like this. The Alter Rebbe's novelty in interpreting this verse in Proverbs is not that Solomon is giving us, that Shlomo is giving us, in the name of God, instruction how it should be, but rather that this is the Metziut. This is the way it is. In other words, when you learn the verse in Proverbs, it's like it should be this way. The Alter Rebbe says, no, it's not just it should be, it is this way. You just have to reveal it. You hear the difference? A very big difference. It's like saying, do I have to create the feeling, or do I have the feeling and I just have to reveal the feeling? So the Alter Rebbe's position and understanding, and what he's teaching us about this verse is that the love that one has for another is in the person. It's in you. You don't have to create it. Just let it come out. See, when you say you have to create something, that's right away associated. Oh, I have to go to my studio. I have to, think of the idea and start drawing. And, in other words, it's a creation. It's a creation of something that doesn't exist yet. And Moshe is going to create that. Hopefully we'll create it. That's a chidush. That's something new, right? When you talk about something that's, imagine the painting, the piece of art already is lodged in Moshe's heart. All he has to do is open his heart and it comes out. So that's not just, that's not creating something, it's revealing something. Says the Alter Rebbe here. Kemayim aponim leponim. Kein leva adam. Just like water reflects, it's not that you have to, it's automatic. When you go to water and you pass water and your face is seen on the water, it's a reflection. It's an automatic reflection. So too, a Jew's heart, it has an automatic love for another person. But if so, why don't I have that feeling? Oh, that's because there's a blockage. A blockage doesn't mean you don't have it. You have it, but it's blocked by something from the outside. It's temporarily out of order. It's a detour, right? You know, you can't go this way, take this route, go to the right, go to the left. There's a detour, but the issue is there. Let's continue. Kocha mamish leva adam, so too in the analogy, in the moral, so too is the man of heart, haneman ba'avosai, that is loyal to the love. Leish achad, that he has to another person. Harei avazu ma'oreres avas belev chaveira elav. This love that you have in your heart towards your friend, guess what? It arouses his love towards you. Gam kein lias oyavim ne'monim zelazeh, because they are lovers, loyal to each other. And this is a very important nakuda. And, you know, in a way, Mark, in a way, it's like, sometimes I think how far I am from what he's saying here. What do I mean? We all do things to create a love, right? What we're talking here about is not creating the love, is revealing the love. So that comes from a very deep place within a person. And Alter Rebbe's argument and position is that we have it. And he says, as soon as you reveal that, your friend will feel it and reciprocate. And it's true. Sometimes people live on the other ends of the world, and someone in one part of the world has this tremendous love for someone else, and the other person senses it, and they call you or they email you or this. You know, I was just thinking about you. I had a dream about you. You know. So what's the Alter Rebbe's point? Because we're one. All Jewish souls are really one. The bodies, our bodies are different. We learned this in chapter 32 in Tanya Chevre when he spoke about this idea. Remember, the Alter Rebbe spoke about Barucheinu Avinu Kolanu Ke'echad, which is part of the blessing in the Shmoneh Esrei in the morning, before we finish the Amidah. We are all blessed because we're all one. And that's what he says here. Let's just continue a few more words. Befrat, this love that the two people have to each other, kisheroya avas chaveira olav. This is even more specific. Not only do you sense it, believe it, you see it. When you see it, when you see the love that one has to the other, that vision, that seeing, it establishes more, it secures more the love between the two people. V'hinei zehu teva hanhog b'midas kol adam. This is a nature that is conducted by every person. Every person has this naturally within him. Afim shneim shavim b'mayla, even if both are equal in quality. Balachas kama v'kama, says the Alter Rebbe, needless to say, im melech godel v'rav, if a very great king, mare avosoi, shows his love, hagdoila, v'atzuma, his great and mighty love, leish hegyet v'nivzet, to a simpleton, and someone who is disgusting in a way, in different aspects of their life. They, v'shval anoshim, like a low life, okay? Umenuvel. I mean, he doesn't stop with the adjectives here, how he's disgusting. Hamutul ba'ashpa, who finds himself in filth and garbage. And this Melech Godel, this great king, v'yored Elov, he descends to him, mimoker kvoidoi, from his place of honor and royalty, im kol sarov yachtov, together with all of his ministers together, umakimoy, and he lifts up the simpleton who is full of filth and on, right? He's homeless, dirty, etc., etc. Umarimoy, and he exalts him ashposei, from his filth, umachnisei lehechol, and he takes him into his palace. Heichel HaMelech, the chambers of the king, cheder lefnim cheder. He doesn't just leave him outside. He takes him into box seats. He's going to the Super Bowl, and he's going to be right there and have the sweet of the sweet with all the beer you could drink and everything else. He takes him inside.
50-yard line.
50-yard line. You can't get closer. No one, no servant of the king, no minister gets to sit there. It's reserved for the big knockers. And he unites with him. With true closeness. And he embraces him. And he kisses him. And there is the attachment of spirit to spirit, b'chol leiv v'nefesh, with his entire heart and soul. Alachas kama v'kama shetisayder, this type of feeling that the great and mighty king, who seems to be so removed, displays towards the simpleton, this will surely it will arouse a love and a doubled love, belev ha'egit, in the heart of the simpleton, v'shval anoshim, and the lowest of man, hazeh, el nefesh ha'melech, to the soul of the king, biskashus ha'nefesh mamish, by that the person will bind his actual soul, milev and nefesh, from heart and soul, miumka deliver from his depth, laying cats on infinitum. Let me just finish one line. And even if the simpleton is as hard as a rock, he's so coarse, he's so stoned, okay? Stoned in the sense, not, stoned with the drugs, but stoned, the heart is stoned. He must. He's going to melt. When you have the king coming and pulling you out and saying, hey guy, I love you, come with me. Where am I going? Am I going to sweep the palace? No. You're coming with me inside. Where inside? To the 50-yard line. To the my room. The room that no one goes to unless it has an appointment on. Yimais. He'll melt. And he will become like water. And his soul will pour itself out, kemayim, like water, with cessation of the soul. He'll say, I love you, I just want to be with you, and I'm completely giving my soul away to you. Mamish la'avas hamelech. Tomorrow we're going to learn what the nimshal is, what the moral of this wonderful, elaborate mushal that the Alter Rebbe just gave us. And we will talk a lot more about this in Mitzvah Shem. Have a great day, everyone. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Great share. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.